Hello and welcome to Startup Street. I'm Arundhati Ramnan, and with me as always are Shruti Mishra and Ritu Singh. These are the top headlines from the startup space. Health tech startup Practo sacks close to 41 employees. Cites performance as the reason. Firm says our revenue, margins and profits are at an all-time high. Upholding a high bar for performance and productivity is crucial to maintaining this level of growth.
Weeks after sale negotiations with PhonePe broke down, Goldman Sachs-backed Zest Money is going to let go of close to 20% or 100 people as part of its business continuity and survival plan. Zest Money's founders and senior leadership team hosted a town hall to let employees know about these layoffs.
JSW Group's B2B e-commerce arm bags 205 crore rupees from Japan's Mitsui & Co. in a Series A round. This is the maiden capital raised from an institutional investor by JSW One Platforms. The firm is now valued at 2,750 crore rupees.
Co-working marketplace Tilework gets $2 million in Series A round. The fund raised from institutional investors includes Capri Global Holdings, QI Ventures and some undisclosed family offices. The funds are going to be used to build and grow its workspace aggregator technology and product for corporates.
Global Head of Safety Antigone Davis is betting on artificial intelligence to combat fake news and bullying, also calls for global rules to curb misinformation, promises more specific tools for content creators in India. That's an exclusive.
Emirates Telecommunication Group company agrees to take a 50.3% stake in a super app managed by Careem, Uber's Middle East subsidiary, in a transaction valued at $400 million.
Well, those are the headlines we've been tracking for you this evening. Global delivery services firm Borzo, that enables intra-city deliveries for businesses, has expanded its presence in 9 international markets and is being used by over 3 million customers globally. It also serves 22 cities in India and is looking further to strengthen its India operations. I'm at Borzo's office in Mumbai, and to talk to us about the road ahead at Borzo, joining me now is its CEO Rami Saab and the General Manager India Eugene Panfilov. Gentlemen, welcome to Startup Street. And Rami, let me start with you first. You joined Borzo in 2022, 6 months after VFast was rebranded at Borzo. Tell me your first impressions about the company and about the Indian market.
Given the fact that Borzo, having been really about SMBs and wanting to also now service and cater to enterprise, the decision was natural to start branding it under a global house, the brand Borzo. The brand is, as every brand, growing globally. It takes time to basically rebuild that brand equity, but it's something that's currently underway. It makes a lot of sense if you're serving a McDonald's in one region of the world that you could service them in another part, and they recognize that it's the same company serving them. This is with respect to the brand. The Indian market is a very dynamic one. There's a lot of demand here. Clearly, the limit is how fast you can supply your customers. It's very great to be in a part of the world where we see such buzzing and dynamism from the business and creativity around the different business models that are being created, and better way to serve the customers that are in many ways sometimes better developed than in other parts of the world. So it's a great market to be in, and we're happy to be serving it.
All right, we'll delve deeper into the India operations a little later with Eugene, but I want to talk to you about your global expansion plans. What are your top 3 markets? How are the synergies different in each of these geographies, and how are you using technology? How are you deploying technology to kind of gain a better footprint and gain a better market share?
We're having a pretty even distribution in terms of size of regions globally. That being said, India is definitely one of the standout countries in its size and traction. We have other markets like Brazil, Indonesia, or the Philippines, who are also next ones coming up. In terms of the different challenges we're facing globally, we're seeing, of course, differences in terms of competition, behavior of both clients or couriers globally. Usually, though, I would say 80% of it is more or less the same traits that you find, and we're just basically having to try and tailor our tech solutions to try and tackle these problems case by case.
All right, talking about technology, how do you see AI fitting into your tech stack? Are you working on building a more generative AI into your tech stack?
We've been using AI already for our route predictions for couriers, as well as our support basically for couriers as well as clients. We are constantly improving, and we're now making investments into or explorations into ChatGPT, for instance, in our tech stack.
Let me talk about inorganic growth. You've acquired companies in India, so is inorganic growth the way forward for you? And if you could talk about acquisitions, will we see acquisitions this year, specifically in India and otherwise as well? And if you could also talk about the vision for the next 2 years.
So Borzo has made acquisitions in the past, so it's something we're familiar with. The way forward, though, is predominantly organic growth.
Okay.
That being said, we're totally open to inorganic growth, not as a strategy, but more tactical, depending on the countries or the product stacks that we're looking for to strengthen the brand.
Take me through the current revenue growth numbers for Borzo and also for the India market specifically.
Globally, last year, we're doing more than over $100 million in gross revenue. India is definitely an important share of this, and we're looking to at least double in the next 2 years. We have, like I said, we're quite ambitious globally.
All right, let me now talk about the Indian market specifically. Eugene, what is the kind of market share you've gained in India? What kind of growth have you clocked so far, and what is the potential you see for the Indian market?
So we definitely saw a tremendous welcome in India for our service product. Last mile delivery, same-day delivery for SMB, and we consider that we are one of top 3 players already in SMB segment in India, and we obviously just starting enterprise segment for us, so this is where we see the potential growth in the future as well. So here we're quite young, but yeah, top 3 already.
Eugene, you already have a presence in 22 cities in India. Are there more cities on the radar? What is the growth plan? And you know, there is competition. So how do you plan to make Borzo a household name in India?
All right, yeah. So number of cities definitely is not the goal itself, because having the better penetration in the region is what is important for us. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We keep opening new areas, and the new enterprise initiative, hyperlocal initiative, which we are aiming right now, is helping in that a lot. Because SMBs, we see a lot of welcome in tier 1 cities, and with the enterprise clients, we are penetrating it further.
Will you also now focus on hyperlocal deliveries, considering the rising competition there?
Yeah, so we're pretty confident in our strategy and in our tech. We know very well that online growth, overall online market growth in India is still going on. After pandemic, the demand only increased, and even we have some decline overall in the markets right now. The demand is not going to disappear. So I think it's only going to grow in India, and we will see how the offline sector will be transferring to online, and we hope we will be together with that transformation.
All right, before we wrap up, one final question for you, Rami. Let's talk about Borzo's move towards carbon neutral deliveries using electric vehicles. I believe you have an aim to convert 20% of your fleet to electric vehicles. How soon do you hope to achieve that?
We have aspirations to reach that goal by the end of the year.
Okay.
This is not just us aspiring to do so, but also our clients asking us to go on that journey. And I think generally we would like to put Borzo at the forefront of being a responsible company, not only for the environment, but generally also for society, communities that we represent, being a marketplace for both clients as well as couriers. So this is something we're trying to form a plan for in the future, but with respect to EVs, our plan is to reach that goal by the end of the year.
All right, Rami, we wish you the very best for all those plans. And thank you so much, Eugene and Rami, for giving us time and talking to us on Startup Street.
Thank you.
So that's Borzo's plans to grow further and their outlook going forward. But housing lender to India's underserved, Aviom Housing Finance has backed $30 million in a Series D round. Now, Nuveen invested in the company in a mix of primary and secondary investments in tranches. The startup plans to use the funds to expand into newer geographies and grow the loan book. Joining me now to discuss this further is Kajal, llmi, the MD and CEO at Aviom India Housing Finance. Kajal, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street. You essentially provide loans to women in rural and semi-urban areas for the salaried and self-employed. So you're also a company that is run by women, for women, and lends to women. So talk to us about this journey of yours and the kind of impact that you've created.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. So just a quick one. We started work in financial year 2017. Right. And, we have had exemplary growth in the last 6 years or so. Today, we're the #1 micro mortgage lender in the space between 3 lakh to 5 lakh. And we have a very unique sourcing model, which is focused only on women. So in a way, you're right by saying that it's by women, for women. But at the same time, I want to clarify, we are essentially for profit as a company. And we've had some amazing ROE all through the years we've been in existence.
All right. And talk to us about the kind of products that you have on offer. What's the ticket size of your loans?
Right. So like I said, they're between 3 lakh to 5 lakhs.
Right.
And we focus on home extension, improvement, and sanitation. So sanitation is a very important part of our loan book.
Right.
So when we say sanitation, we're talking about creation of toilets all across India in tier 2, tier 3, specifically focused on the rural markets.
Right.
So we're the only financial services company, pan-India, which has sanitation as an inherent part of their main product portfolio.
Right. Okay. And you've raised $30 million. So what's the plan with the funds? Where do you plan to deploy it?
So this is our Series D now. So this has been our 4th round, really. And we are very happy to have Nuveen as a partner. They are globally very renowned, and they have $1.1 trillion as their AUM. So very happy to partner with deep-pocketed funds, especially at a global time like this. And the entire plan is really to go into a listing probably in 2026. So we will be seeing some very focused growth in the 12 states that we're in. We will remain true to our basic business model of 3 lakh to 5 lakhs. The lady of the house is the first applicant, and that remains very integral to our focus of the business model.
All right, so you plan to list by 2026. Now talk to us about Aviom Shakti, where you've claimed to have created employment opportunities for over 55,000 women with plans to add about 5,000 on a monthly basis. So tell us a little bit about this.
So we've created a flexi worker program for rural women. So essentially what it does is it allows every rural woman to become a flexi working hour person or a partner of ours. So she becomes a partner in our business sourcing. So that is the non-fixed called variable cost model that we have created ourselves. We call it Shakti.
Right.
We are working in 12 states, and we are deeply known for this model. There's a great deal of trust which is created by the women along with the women in the community. We pay money to them within, and the commission due to them within 24 hours. So they are essentially our partners in growth. And the first financial literacy programs are run by us. They're run, managed, and operated by us, because you need to take them into the formal workspace as well. So those entire financial training is undertaken by Aviom.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about the numbers. So where are your revenues at currently? Where will the next leg of growth come from for you?
So right now we closed the last year at a revenue of more than 200 crores. And this coming year, I mean, if I talk about from an AUM perspective, we will be at 2,200 crores by next March, in the next financial year. And from a PAT perspective, considering such a young company, we will be crossing 50 crores next year. We already closed the last year close to 20 crores.
All right. And what about expansion plans? Which are the new geographies that you plan to expand into? And how many households do you hope to impact and cater to in the next year? What are the targets you've set for yourself?
Right. So we are already in 12 states. And 12 states, as you know, in financial services, small ticket is quite a bit. Right. Most of the current players are all hugely concentrated in 1 or 2 geographies. So we've managed to crack that code of going pan-India. We're across North India and South India. We're doing equally well everywhere. So the entire focus is really to double our book. We're at about 1,100 crores now. Like I mentioned, we'll be at 2,200 crores. So from 130 branches, we will be at about 260 branches. And we hope to have given loans to more than 1.5 lakh households.
All right. Okay.
So we have a very unique model, if I may add.
Absolutely.
We are in the white space between microfinance and conventional housing finance.
Right.
So every lender in India mostly either is in the microfinance space. If you look at them in the conventional housing finance space, then they are going up to 8 to 10 lakhs. Microfinance gets over at about 1,25,000. Practically, they lend up to 40,000.
Right.
So there's a huge gap in the middle that we're catering to.
Absolutely.
So and if you see the last year, microfinance lent more than 2 lakh crores they disbursed in the last financial year.
Right.
There are more than 6 crore borrowers in the microfinance space which just came in the last financial year. Every one of that borrower is our potential customer.
Right. Oh, all right, Kajal. So big opportunity there, but we're completely out of time. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, video telematics platform LightMetrics raised $8.5 million in a Series A funding round. A special conversation with Soumik Ukil, the company's CEO and co-founder, on the fund allocation, growth plans, and more. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Startup Street. Now, video telematics platform LightMetrics has raised $8.5 million in a Series A funding round from Sequoia Capital India. The company is going to use this Edge AI, and it also analyzes video feeds from cameras which are installed in vehicles to better understand driver behavior, reduce accidents, and improve road safety. Now, it plans to use these funds to strengthen its team and also explore adjacent opportunities, which include auto insurance. So joining me now to talk about this is Soumik Ukil, who is the CEO and co-founder of LightMetrics. Soumik, thank you very much for being here with us on Startup Street, and congratulations on this fundraise. If you could briefly start by telling our viewers how exactly LightMetrics helps reduce accidents, improve road safety, using technology, and how large are your operations currently?
Thanks, Eugene. Thanks for having me here. So what LightMetrics essentially does is, if you're a commercial fleet operator running a fleet of, say, 100 or even 1,000 vehicles, it helps you get a very granular view on how your drivers are exactly driving. Like, are they talking on the cell phone? Are they braking too hard? Are they getting too close to the vehicle in front? Things you would not otherwise get through traditional technology like GPS and tracking technology. And we provide that to commercial fleets by working with telematics service providers and commercial vehicle OEMs manufacturers globally. Our scale of operations primarily are US and Canada, which are our major markets, but we have growing presence in Brazil, Mexico, India, Australia, and New Zealand. And we are deployed in 50,000 commercial vehicles globally, and that's increasing every month.
Well, Soumik, we'll get into some of those details very shortly, but essentially you have like a virtual person sitting with you while you're driving to analyze just about everything. But you want to use these funds again to strengthen your team, to explore opportunities in auto insurance. That's interesting. What exactly are the plans in this front, and are you exploring or have firmed up any tie-ups with insurance companies?
Yeah, thanks. So auto insurance has a couple of motivations for supporting the space. One is when there's an accident, right? Claims management is much more seamless when there's video evidence. Secondly, with this granular data on safety, you can actually price insurance much more accurately, on which some initial steps have already been taken in some of the markets like the US, and eventually to come to India as well. So these are kind of some of the main areas of interest for insurance companies, and we are starting some early partnerships with them.
All right, and what would you say is the size of the market that you're trying to explore in telematics, especially with videos and your products that you have, Review and so on?
So the way I would answer it is, we say video is the new GPS. What we mean is the way GPS technology revolutionized the space 10, 15 years ago, video telematics is at the same juncture, right? So the size of the market is essentially almost the entire commercial vehicle market, right? Which is like many hundreds of millions of vehicles globally, right? So, that is kind of the opportunity in front of us.
So, Soumik, you don't really sell cameras, you don't really sell to fleets per se, but you work with telematics service providers and fleet management companies. Would you explain what your go-to market approach is like?
That's a good question, right? So what we decided very early on was, we will be the technology platform that helps the wide adoption of this technology, right? So we are working with telematics service providers in India, in Brazil, in Australia, and US and Canada, and we are providing them the hardware options that is suitable for their different fleet segments. So with that, we can move fast, our customers can move fast, and they can deploy this technology far and wide, right? As a relatively small company of India, we have operations in all these countries, and we've been able to do that because we built this platform that can be easily integrated and easily deployed.
And what would you say are the faster growing markets for LightMetrics? I mean, you're present across North America, India, places in the Middle East as well.
So North America is the more mature market, still not fully penetrated where the most of the growth will be. But we are very optimistic both about LATAM and India and Australia for the coming year or so. But eventually this technology will be everywhere.
Okay, but before we let you go, just to give us a sense of what kind of revenues and profits you're able to clock in, and currently I think you're deployed by over 2,500 fleets. What are the plans to scale this up as well?
So we are in multiple $1 million of annual recurring revenue. We are in 2,500 fleets, as you said, across all these countries, 50,000 plus commercial vehicles. And if you look at just our accessible market is couple of million vehicles across all our telematics service providers, right? So we are catching the surface. So that's the opportunity ahead of us, right? We tripled our installed base last year, and we hope to do the same this year.
Okay, and just a final question, Soumik. This $8.5 million that you've raised, at what valuation has this come, and how long is the runway before you have to look at your next fundraise?
Valuation, at this stage, at Series A is not the most important thing for us. I mean, we are happy with the valuation we've got, but But I think from a runway perspective, we are profitable. While our operations will grow, I think that this gives us at least a 3 to 4 year runway because our revenues are also increasing at the same time.
All right, Soumik, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and telling us about this very interesting company you've started, LightMetrics. We wish you all the very best. Thank you for your time here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, on that note, we're going to wrap up this edition of Startup Street. Thank you for watching, but stay with CNBC TV 18. More news and updates will continue.